distinguished ladies such as this to the floor of the exchange is a feat. Am I correct? Thank you. So I want to first acknowledge and appreciate the support and collaboration of our esteemed partners, International Finance Corporation, United Nations Women, United Nations Global Compact, the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, the Central Securities and Clearing System, and Sterling One Foundation. Their commitment towards SDG 5, gender equality and empowerment, is inspiring, and we are quite honored to embark on this journey with you. Last year marked my 10th year in this organization, and my growth within this organization and within the capital market, and indeed the growth of women within this organization and within the capital market, some of whom are on this podium with me, is a testament to the fact that this organization and the Nigerian capital market, we live what we preach. Gender equality for us is not just a buzzword, it's not just the flavor of the season, or it's not just about being politically correct, but it is an ethos we live by to ensure exponential growth within this market, within our institutions, and within the economy of Nigeria. Over the past 3 years, NGX has forged a very strong partnership with the International Finance Corporation through the Nigeria to Equal program. Through this collaboration, we have been able to open more opportunities for women in leadership, employment, and entrepreneurship across various sectors of the Nigerian private sector. I'm also pleased to announce that NGX is currently working with United Nations Women to issue a gender bond in Nigeria. And this initiative, thank you very much. Through this initiative, we hope to be able to mobilize capital towards projects that benefit women and advance gender equality across various sectors of our economy. So as we celebrate International Women's Day this year, the theme, Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, we want to ensure that everybody understands the importance of galvanizing the stakeholders to push the women agenda. IFC has said around 41% of businesses in Nigeria are owned by women. McKinsey has said women in top leadership positions can increase a company's revenue by over 50%. Therefore, women play a pivotal role in building sustainable societies. It is therefore imperative that we consistently empower the female gender to facilitate positive and lasting change. The purpose of this event today is to raise awareness about the importance of investing in women, about inspiring inclusive leadership, and educating and advocating gender-responsive policies. It is our hope that by championing these policies, we can create empowering environments where every individual, not just women, can thrive and contribute to our collective success. So let us reaffirm our commitment to gender equality and empowerment. Let us seize this moment to inspire inclusion, amplify the voices of women, and accelerate progress towards a more just and equitable world. And let us also recognize that gender equality and empowerment is not just about organizational actions, it's also about individual actions. So in your families, in your communities, wherever you find yourself, promote gender-based and focused initiatives and policies. Thank you once again for your presence and your dedication to this important cause. Together we can create a future where every individual, regardless of gender, can reach their full potential. God bless us all and all our endeavors. Thank you. So we have 26 minutes, and what we will do is to have some of our esteemed partners also talk to us about the agenda and the theme for this year. So I'll first call on Madam Hafsat Rufai, Director, Lagos Zone, SEC. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you, Irene. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to speak with us, to speak with everyone indeed about the need to be deliberate in women inclusion in everything we do. Today, being the International Women's Day, reminds us of the need to be more deliberate in advancing the cause of women. We know that there are biases against women, whether they are deliberate, whether they are explicit, whether they are implicit. And then today we stand together as a group of strong women to say that we will not recognize those biases, we will continue to forge ahead. We do not wait for anyone to endorse us, but we will grow, we will fester, we will invest. This is a Nigerian capital market. women will be more included, we would earn, we would work hard, we would show that we really don't need endorsement. We're who we are. We have women of testimony, women who have done so well in their fields of endeavor. We've seen testimonies, some of them have been read out by Irene, about how companies, organizations led by women do very well. And some of us who are here today are here to reaffirm the fact that women are strong enough, women are not second to any other gender. Indeed, we are equal to other genders that there are in the world, and we will continue to forge ahead. So please join me in shouting today that we're celebrating the International Women's Day just by saying the International Women's Day, just echoing International Women's Day, and of course doing the sign that we have this year. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much. So we will also call on Alexandra Celestine, who is representing Kristen Muala Mulu, Principal Country Officer, International Finance Corporation. Please let's give her a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really very excited to be joining the Nigerian Exchange Group, our partners UN Women and UN Global Compact Network Nigeria, and other distinguished guests as we commemorate this year's International Women's Day, alongside more than 120 participating stock exchanges in the Ring the Bell for Gender Equality events around the world. I'm excited because this is important and this matters. And as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of this global movement, this event reminds us once more the importance of gender equality for economic development and growth. According to the Global Gender Gap Report 2023, another or more generation of women will have to wait for gender parity. At the current rate, it will take 131 years to reach full parity. It is clear then that we must speed up actions now to achieve gender parity. Women face numerous barriers in their efforts to ascend to boards and business leadership positions, including unconscious biases, cultural biases, and lack of opportunities. And addressing these barriers requires a multifaceted approach. IFC's work with stock exchanges extends our reach to thousands of companies to amplify the importance of increasing female representations in boardrooms and in senior managements and C-suite. So that's why in 2021, IFC partnered with Nigerian Exchange under the IFC-led Nigeria 2 Equal program to rally some of the largest private sector companies to invest in increasing women's participation across employment and entrepreneurship. And through these 2.5 years, we've worked with 18 CEOs of listed companies who collected 187 tangible commitments, measurable commitments to reduce gender gap. And in 24 months, these 18 companies have achieved 80% of their total commitment, which have impacted 30,000 employees. Over 4,000 women have been hired, promoted to middle, senior, and executive management positions. During the program, the Nigeria Exchange became the first exchange globally to obtain an economic dividend for gender equality, EDGE Gender certification. So big round of applause for the exchange. And beyond Nigeria, IFC has stepped up its work with other stock exchanges globally to improve diversity in listed companies through our continued partnership with the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges Initiative, by leveraging capital markets to advance women leaders through promoting sound environmental, social, and governance practices, and including disclosure and transparency. We applaud the work of exchanges, especially the Nigerian Exchange, so that they can help connect companies, investors, and policymakers to support sustainable development practices and help rally the private sector to increase women's participation in business and economic development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. And I hope we heard about the 4,000 women that have been positively impacted by the Nigeria to Equal program. Please, let's give a warm round of applause. Those are the kind of things we're talking about, tangible impacts, measurable impacts. Thank you so much. I will now call on Mrs. Yemisi Ayeni, Chairperson, NASCON, Allied Industries.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. It's great to be back at the Exchange, and thank you very much to the organizers for inviting me. I'll start by saying it goes without saying this has been a very difficult few weeks at the Exchange. And I think the fact that we're all here today and today's event is still happening is proof of the value that the Exchange places on its female staff. I recall I spoke at International Women's Day event here, I think it was in 2015. I was a member of council at the time, and the topic then was building a successful career as a woman. I think it's great to see that since then the discourse has progressed from focusing solely on what women need to do to succeed. Now we're talking about what companies need to do in order to inspire inclusion and to provide better support for women at work. Because the truth is, for any organization to succeed in creating a genuinely equitable workplace for all, we need to consider both angles. What do women need to do, but also what do companies need to do to better support women? And I'll briefly state that when I say what companies need to do to better support women, I'm not asking for a free pass for women, because we don't need it. What I'm talking about is recognizing that there are certain inherent factors that could adversely impact the careers of female staff if not dealt with. Now, once companies recognize those factors, they need to be deliberate about addressing them in a way that levels the playing field. And that's really all we need, a level playing field. It goes without saying that smart companies want to ensure that all members of staff are contributing optimally to the bottom line. And this only happens when there is a deliberate focus on ensuring equitable inclusion of all staff. Now, I only have a couple of minutes, so I'm going to just mention one very practical example, and that is the way appraisal and promotion policies are applied during maternity leave. Now, this is something that affects just women. Not only should companies have fair maternity leave policies, but they also need appraisal and promotion policies that specifically provide for performance evaluations and promotion decisions to be prorated during the maternity leave year. Now, what this means is that if I'm on maternity leave for 4 months, then I should be appraised on the target set and the work I do during the 8 months that I'm at work. Now, when I put it like that, it seems like a no-brainer. But trust me, when you look at the differentials between appraisal outcomes for men and women, it was found that the maternity leave year typically saw a significant dip in women's performance appraisals, and this dip was not because they didn't meet their targets. Rather, it was due to an unspoken belief that, well, you know, there are people who've been at work all year, she was off having a baby for 4 months, the people who've been here all year should get the lion's share of the bonus pot, they should be first in line for promotions. This is patently unfair. And this is where corporate policies come in. Companies need to identify such unspoken beliefs, combat them by ensuring that there are clear policies on what needs to happen to ensure equitable inclusion in that situation. I think I'm probably out of time, but I hope that if this isn't already happening at the Exchange Group, it's something that will be considered and implemented ASAP. Thank you for your time, and I wish you all a happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much. So we'll ask Mrs. Elizabeth Aby, Group Managing Director, CEO, Future View Group, to please give her remarks.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure to be here, joining my fellow women to celebrate today. Celebrating women that have performed over time, done marvelously well. And we also found out that women, have been contributing to the progress of the nation, and their contributions are leaped forward because of what women are made of. And in the capital markets, it is something that we really need to look at to make sure that these women, we can get the impact in our market so that we can also influence our nation. We can also influence our economy. How do we do that? We need to, I'm going to be quite deliberate in this process. I will tell us what we need to do so they can be captured. Whoever is taking notes, it will be captured to make sure that they help us to get to where we want to go to. Because as of today, we only have 15% of stockbrokers as women out of the whole numbers that we have here? How do we increase that number? Okay, and even the certification that was just done, only 4% passed the examination. That is a cause for concern. Maybe for some sectors, they are doing well. But for our capital market, we really need to do something about it. And how do we do it? It's going to take everybody involved as a stakeholder to make sure that this happens. We're going to be looking at it from different aspects. What do we expect government to do and regulators to help to get women participating fully in this market? We're looking at them. We're hoping that they would they'll give policies and regulations that will increase women's participation in this capital market. Setting targets for female representation in stockbroking firms, in providing incentives for companies to hire and retain female brokers. Government should realize that capital market is the robust platform for creation of wealth for the nation. And Nigerian capital market and Nigerian economy is not doing what it's supposed to do. The GDP to growth vis-a-vis capitalization in the stock market for Nigeria is 14%. For South Africa, it's 64.19%. This is as 2022. So there's a lot of work needs to be done. And part of the things that we're proposing to governments is that they should speed up on the approval of the bill that we have sent to them for the approval for the new, the expanded charter for the institute, for the CISIM. So we need that to be approved quickly so that we can drag net and bring in some other women into this fold. We need the stock exchange to do more. They have done some, but we need more. We need policies to be put in place to recognize women supporting the NGS in different areas. How do you encourage women that are promoting financial literacy within the market? Something must be put in place. The women that are intentionally employing women, how do we incentivize them? Quoted companies should always include female-led institutions in their transactions. These stockbroking houses are not as profitable as they used to be. And if things are not profitable, it doesn't attract the right people. So we have to make these institutions profitable, so that they can attract the right people into the business. So the question is, what are we going to do? I'm also asking that we should reduce the minimum operating standards, not to the extent that we would throw out integrity and transparency in the market, but make it optimal, and so that it can also enhance profitability. Allow relevant professionals from other industry sectors to seek sex sponsorship. I hope my DJ is listening. With minimal experience in the capital market. Because if you're an accountant, you know how to keep the books. All you need to do is maybe a 6 months training to know how to comply with the rules and regulations of the Securities and Exchange Commission, as well as NGX. And for CIS, yes, we're asking for a minimum representation of 35% in the council. And then amongst the principal officers, at any given point in time, there should be at least a female representing at the principal office of the council. If it's not achieved by election, I believe they should sponsor a lady based on support to the institute and the track record. Offer scholarship to females who have endeavored to pursue Securities and Exchange studies. Financial institutions, stockbroking firms need to implement their own diversity and inclusion by offering mentorship programs, scholarships, internships for young people, so that they get a feel of what this business is all about. I have a few mentees that have come through our system, and most of them are overseas, trading, with the big names over in Spain, in Europe, and in the United States. educational institutions become very critical. We need to develop, diversify, and come up with programs and studies in securities and stockbroking curricula, so that more people will be encouraged, to join the business. Media and public awareness is critical to showcase successful women and highlight the benefits of having gender diversity in the capital market, increase awareness and opportunity. But most importantly is for us women. We need to help ourselves. We are not there yet. We cannot claim that we're there. We are going to get there if we do the right things, okay? And primarily, important thing for married women, make sure that you have agreement with your partner before you pursue this business. For those that are yet to be married, make sure you discuss it and agree before you get into any marital commitment. Begin to train, it's important. Begin to train and socialize your girl and boy child similarly. Teach your boys how to wash plates, how to cook, and then teach the girls about being an engineer and being a doctor, all of those. We need to start doing those things right now, okay? All right, okay. Time management is key. Develop expertise in what you're doing, build your network. Speak up, Sorosoke. When there's an issue, speak up. Speak up against bias, speak up against, gender bias, speak up against stereotype, unfair treatment. But we need the men to join us, because without them, we may not go too far with all our plans. So we are appealing the men to join us to make sure that we achieve our objective. I'm hoping that we all will look at these areas. If each and every one of us as stakeholders do these things, I believe that we've gone a long way to make sure that we achieve our objective. Thank you very much for listening. Happy International Women's Day. God bless you.
Please, let's give her a round of applause once again. She has shown why she's the first female stockbroker in this market. Please, a warm round of applause. And I hope all of us were taking notes. I have been taking mental notes. So we only have 7 minutes, but I think we can take one more speaker before it will be time for us to ring the bell. So we'll call on Mrs. Bolanle Austin Peters, founder, Terra Culture, BAP Production.
Thank you for inviting us, the Stock Exchange. It's an honor for us to be here. Like yourself, this is my second time here ringing the bell, and it just shows the leap that we have made in our industry, that the arts is recognized for us to be in this space where we can ring the bell as well. Our contribution to Nigeria and Nigeria's growth and its GDP is clear to everyone to see. So being here is not accidental or a privilege. It is a right for us to be here. What we do in empowering women is that we use the arts to change the narrative about us. You typically know who you are through your stories. Our storytelling for a long time has been done by foreigners for us, thereby skewing the image of Nigerians, Nigerian women, and African women. For a long time, we all believed that we don't have heroes, but the reality is that we have many heroines that have gone ahead of us. From the great Funmilayo Ransome Kuti that we just shot, women who have blazed the trail, gone ahead of us to demand change where people thought it was impossible. People who looked at colonial government and traditional government and told them, you will not continue to use the sweat of these women as cheap labor, taxing them unnecessarily, and fought them to a standstill until it was changed. Those are the kind of women that we celebrate and the narrative that we're putting out for African women. A woman who understands that when women are not in the boardroom and women are not on the table, like here, the conversation is held by only one gender. So therefore, it will be skewed,
and it will not be protective of the other gender. So what we do through our storytelling is that we are creating an understanding and an education for those who don't know who our forefathers and our grandmothers were. They were strong people, educated, entrepreneurial, and we keep pushing these stories here through the various platforms that we have so that Nigerian women and our children after us can understand that the power that we Nigerian women hold is what will take this country forward. So ladies and gentlemen, we continue to do our best in telling our stories, and we continue to equip young women, and by doing what we do, just by looking at us, we're giving hope to the younger generation. When you look at the great Joke Silva here, Adunia Day, and so many other people in the industry that are seated here, they give young women hope that it is possible for us to change our story. And we're equipping women. If you look at our industry, there are a lot of women in occupying positions of power now. So the things that were typical before are beginning to become atypical. We're not allowing for those things to happen anymore. There are women directors, women producers, women doing great things. And through the academy that we have founded, we're now upskilling the skill sets of young girls in the north and in Lagos and in Ogun State to acquire those technical skills of lighting, set design, those things that are considered traditionally not female. We're passing on those skill sets to our young girls so that they can control the sets, they can control our storytelling, and they can control the power base. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for inviting us. Thank you very much. So we have 3 minutes more. We'll call on Mrs. Lillian Olubi, Director, NGX.
Thank you very much. So I'll be very brief. Good afternoon, ladies and a few gentlemen. I think I stand as a testament of some progress that has happened in the markets. I remember being on this same floor about 26, 27 years ago as a final year student in the university writing my thesis on the CSCS and looking literally at this same balustrade, slightly redesigned from what it is now, over at a floor that was filled with men. And what I remember on that day during the lunch break, seeing about 3 women on this floor. And to sit down or to find myself here as a market operator, as a member of the governing council of the CIS, as a board member of this exchange, I think, speaks obviously to the testament of change. I would later learn that one of those 3 women was Mrs. Ebi, who, before that time I saw 3 women, and I thought this was too few. She and alongside with Dr. Inde Okereke had fought many battles in trying to change policies that didn't even allow women to sit for the exams to be qualified traders. Imagine that, we weren't even invited to the party. Talk about, finding the table at the party. And so I think, a lot of honor needs to be given to Mrs. Ebi and a due appreciation for the work they did for us as forerunners. And when I think about what we bequeath to the coming generations, I think we have a very important window right now where we have these forerunners still with us, active in the market, where we have lots of us as operators and leaders of several firms in different industries. And coming generation, I think it calls for a collaboration of some sort, because the newer people need our institutional knowledge, they need our risk aversion, so to speak, they need our prowess, they need our knowledge and ethos of the market. And we need their savvy and their proactivity, and yes, exactly, and risk appetite to move things forward, to build institutions, because it is in building that we can really sustain accelerated progress. Thank you very much. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much. So we have 49 seconds. And so we will just try and arrange ourselves here. There are lots of us ringing the bell. But we will make do, because, we women, we know how to multitask, how to make do, yes. We know how to achieve plenty with little, correct? So please. Thank you very much. So I don't know about you, but I heard beautiful melody as they were all playing. So that's the beauty of women for you. We are creative at every turn. Please, let's give ourselves a round of applause. We had to pause the speeches just to ensure that we're able to close the market. So we'll continue with the speeches. We have Mrs. Amina Mohammed, Director, NGX Reco. She represents the chairperson of NGX Regulation. Please, let's give her a round of applause.
Good afternoon once again, and thank you. My speech will be very short, and it would simply be about what inclusion means to me in the finance industry. For me, inclusion in the finance industry is creating a space for diverse voices to be heard and valued, not only heard, to be present, but also have the opportunity to make an impact, because this way we can achieve untapped potential, we can drive innovation, and most importantly, we can foster a dynamic sector for all, just as everybody else has said. At NGX Regulation, there's an initiative called Equip Her, and the initiative is aimed at women's empowerment and to encourage more women to participate in the capital market. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Happy International Women's Day to everyone, and have a good day.
Thank you very much. So we'll call on Mrs. Oluwa Shoromidayo George to give her very short speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Greetings from the United Nations Global Compact. Today is a very important day because we're reminded of the invaluable contributions women make to every facet of our society. And I think we've heard a lot of that here today. Extremely inspiring stories that we've heard that should motivate us to action. Investing in women is not only a moral imperative, but is also an economic and social imperative. It is a strategic decision, and I want to say again, it is a strategic decision that drives progress and prosperity for all. Today, I'm reminded of the women around me, women who have inspired and have gone ahead to do extraordinary things, building communities, global villages, and doing a lot within their space. But we haven't seen enough of that. I think it's imperative for us to raise our voices and ask for more to be done. We've actually seen a stagnation in terms of investing in women, and I speak from the UN angle, where we work with a number of member companies that are in the private sector driving sustainability. Whilst we've seen progress so far, I think there's still much more room for us to do more. So we've seen, incredible things coming in the space of board appointments, but it's not enough. We've seen incredible things done in the space of top-level executive management, but it's not enough. We have to support more women. We have to invest in them. We have to speak for them. We have to provide a space for them to be able to thrive. We have to accept women as they are. Women, we come with a lot. We come with, right now as I'm here, I have to arrange for my son to be picked up. I have to make sure that my son gets to the hospital, but I still have to deliver on my objectives. But I need a workspace that is able to identify that there's so many parts of me and be able to support me to thrive and to get to the very, very top of my career. And this is what we're asking for. So we're asking for a lot more investment. And in the UN Global Compact, we support private organizations, businesses to be able to create that space, to have the template for them to be able to foster inclusivity in the workplace. So thank you very much. And let us take this conversation beyond today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll ask Ms. Fiona Ahime, Director, NGX Relco, as well as the second Vice President, CIS. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Happy International Day, everyone. It goes without saying that women create legacy. Am I right? Women sustain legacy, correct? So why are we not giving them a chance? Why are we not deliberately working to make that inclusion happen? I don't like repeating things. We've said a whole lot on this podium, but what I will just say is, women who have had the opportunity to climb the ladder and be up there. I heard somebody was saying, oh, it took me 22 years to climb the ladder and be up there. Why should it take 5 years for this person to climb? No, pay your dues. It shouldn't be that way. If you are there, women, men are dominating because they are pulling themselves up. Let's pull each other up. Sponsor a lady today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now call on Mrs. Peju Ibekwe, CEO, Sterling One Foundation. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Okay, good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. A lot has been said, and I want to speak for just 2 minutes, so I will emphasize just one thing. We have a $1.7 trillion gap for financing for women entrepreneurs today. It is clear that it is not a feat that one organization can achieve. We need partnerships. And that is something we emphasize at the Sterling One Foundation. As gender equality is a thematic focus area we mainstream across our focus programs, we have also identified the need to bring together stakeholders for them to partner and scale projects and initiatives that are delivering results. I will speak about the Africa Social Impact Summit, which we are co-convening with the United Nations in Nigeria. I invite everyone in this room, joining us here and online, to partner with us, and beyond that, to intentionally look for other organizations and initiatives that are focusing on investing in women and see how you can pull hands together to scale the impact you are achieving. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now call on Mrs. Onome Komolafe, Divisional Head, Business Services and Client Experience, CSCS. Please give her a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. I had a speech, but I think that that speech has been overridden by what we have heard here today. But I would just want to quickly take 60 seconds to speak to what I know as, what I understand as inclusion. Inclusions are actions and words that make it difficult for lack of equality to thrive. What does that mean? What you say, what you do in the workplace, in the community, in your families, that ensures that there is no lack of equity for the female gender. And how do we achieve that? One, we must celebrate diversity. We must welcome and respect differences in culture. The fact that I'm Nigerian or I'm Igbo should not be a difference that you're American or European or you're Hausa. And we must respect perspectives and visions. Secondly, we must advocate for inclusive spaces in education, in family, in leadership. The fact that somebody has 5 girls doesn't mean that he's not a man, or he doesn't have children. We must advocate for this thing. And thirdly and lastly, we must empower younger women by affirming their dreams. And we must break barriers to the fulfillment of those dreams. What are these barriers? When we have gender stereotype, because she's a woman, she cannot be an engineer. Because she's a woman, she cannot get to where she should in her career. And we must avoid systemic discrimination, where within our system, we are already having biases against our women. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you very much. Last but not the least, we'll call on Mrs. Angela Moruli, Gender Project Expert, United Nations Women. Warm round of applause, please.
Thank you so much. It's not easy being last, but I'll be very quick, and please permit me just to say these words because they are said on behalf of the UN Women Representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Madame Beatrice Young. So we're deeply honored to be here once again at the Ring the Bell event for gender equality, the signature event, and we would like to thank and commend the Nigerian Exchange Group and all partners present here for their profound commitment to reducing the existing gender gap and promoting gender-smart initiatives such as the Nigeria to Equal program, the WEPS in partnership with the UN Global Compact. So we appreciate and recognize all of these. And whilst the government of Nigeria and other stakeholders continue to address these inequalities, just to reiterate, we do need to finance for gender equality. Globally, $360 billion are needed per year to address the gender inequalities and the goals on the SDGs. Meanwhile, there's only 4% of bilateral funding for gender-specific programming. So we call on distinguished participants here today to lend their voice to existing pathways for expanding investment, such as the Gender Bond with NGX, the GBV private sector-led GBV fund, the private sector-led GBV fund, which Sterling One Foundation is a partner of, and all of these are in line with the federal government of Nigeria's National Development Plan. And advancing and achieving gender equality needs a multi-stakeholder approach. Today we were at a program with the King of Igbobo Kingdom. So that shows that we need men, boys, everyone on the table. So UN Women remains committed to supporting all actors to achieve gender equality. And once again, thank you so much for having us.
Before we hand it over to the Doyen for his response, I would do us a great disservice if we do not call on Madam Joke Silva to give her remarks. Please, let's give her a warm round of applause. An Amazon indeed, ma'am. God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Because I wasn't expected to speak, I'm going to keep my speech very short, probably 30 seconds. But something interesting happened here, and I'd like us to underline it as women and celebrating International Women's Day. I came here. You know, people say that women do not support women. Yeah? That's the adage that's... And I have a feeling that it's probably the men that spread it. You know? But I came here to support Bolanle, not to come and ring anything. I just came as support. And here I am on the podium. And I think it's a very important and very spiritual thing. Because like Bolanle, this is my own second time as well. The last time I was here, I was with Olu Jacobs to ring the bell. I run an organization with another woman who is, you know, my co-CEO in the Lufodo group. Once Olu Jacob retired, with Ifi Monye and myself. She's operations, I am artistic. Women always support women. Women work together and can work together seamlessly. And Bolanle has some incredible plans in store for myself and her. I just follow my leader. Thank you so much. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Doyen, over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. You are all welcome to the trading floor of the Nigerian Exchange Group. I have the big Doyen here, but because today is Women Affairs, that's why I made the Doyen for the day. We thank you all for coming, and we have heard all the beautiful speeches. Our regulators are here. We are the operators. The regulators are there. I hope they've taken things, especially what Mrs. Elby said. And I hope going forward, we will see more women come into the floor as or less, because Mrs. Elby is our forerunner, and she has highlighted some vital points that the regulators have to take note of. CIS is well represented also, so we hope something has to be done about more ladies. We want to see more ladies as or less. Once more, you are all welcome to the trading floor of the Nigerian Exchange Group, and happy International Women's Day to all of us.
And you cannot go without having our family song from us. At least, no matter how the title is, you must carry it with 2 hands. Thank you.
Let's write for the family song. jolly good fellows, for we are jolly good fellows, for we are jolly good fellows. And so say all of us, hooray! And so say all of us, hooray! And so say all of us, hooray! For we are jolly good fellows, for we are jolly good fellows, for we are jolly good fellows. And so say all of us, hooray!
Hello, close to prayer. Should we be in the mood of prayer, please? Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for making it possible for us to meet together to celebrate International Women's Day. We call on you because without you we can do nothing. We should perfect everything concerning today for women in the mighty name of Jesus. And also help us to be able to carry out our plan and objective of this environment. Thank you because you have done it. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit abide with us today and forevermore. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Even if I send a picture, you can't get in their picture. No, somebody just.